Alright, so a little while ago, let's go some uncontested. I wrote a review on Nether, giving it 4 stars, which I shall link in the box below. Um, Essentially, I may have been somewhat overzealous, and I kind of want to, in a kind of video review, show you why I'm changing my mind. Those you don't know, Nether is a post-apocalyptic MMO set in, I'm guessing, post-nuclear world, which is populated by the survivors and mutant alien teleporting things, which are the titular Nethers. Um, Basically, the crux of the argument I made in my written review was that it, it wasn't as good as DayZ. There was a quote from Rock Paper Shotgun, I believe, which said, "Behold Phosphor's DayZ killer." It's just not that. It's a good game, but it's not Phosphor's DayZ killer. What, however, it's not. Unlike DayZ, obviously, it's got the same basic format of apocalyptic survival, but I just want to say something. The most accurate comparison in terms of DayZ would actually be to say that it's some lives. It's running a bit slow. Or it could crash. It's closer to the DayZ standalone, which I have also reviewed, also linked that, in that it is very wow, that is running badly today. Swear to Christ, I was getting good on this. Um, it looks good. Um, oh Jesus, that was optimistic. Oh, didn't actually take any damage. As you can see, very atmospheric, very ambient. Oh, what the hell was it I picked up? WTO. So that's gonna be Westview? It's not the museum. It's not Riverside. It's not Tower. It must be Westview. It looks good. It's very... Jesus, my FPS is dying on the ground. It's a very strongly atmospheric game, very good looking, but it doesn't have much in it. the main reason the mod is still stronger than DayZ standalone is the fact that it's had so much time put into it that it's very populated, both with players and with gear, whereas the standalone, maybe it's just because I was going to say so, my face was low, the standalone, as with Nether, has a lot of problems with there not really being enough players, not really being enough zombies, not really being enough loot spawns, and admittedly it's been a while since I've taken a look at the standalone, so this might have changed, but it's a problem that's definitely true of Nether, in that really it's currently just not. For example, the other day I died due to hunger. Now, in DayZ, the mod that is, I would usually be stocked up on cans of beans, etc. In Nether, finding, finding nutrition is not exactly easy. It's as you just saw where back there I got the katana, there are things which you can search, which give you items, but these items are randomly dictated. So it's not like you can go, oh, this will have that. You know, this is going to be, there's this here, and so on. Instead, you just have to kind of, oh, great. You have to kind of hope you're going to get what you're looking for. Particularly as it's, as you can already see, my nutrition, the little circle in the bottom right with the bottle of water is already getting pretty low. Oh, I'm just going to kill this thing. So, it is a serious problem in Nether that, and I mean one that really badly affects the game in my opinion. That sounds like there's another one around. In that, if I die through no real fault of my own, but just because, okay, so that does hurt. Simply because, I mean, if a player shoots and kills me, then that's my fault. You know, I've been bested. Fair play to them. They've taken me out. But if I'm dying just because I can't actually find anything to keep me alive, then that is a fault of the game for not providing me the ability to stay alive, if that makes sense. I'm not saying that it should be extremely liberal. You know, if you want to make it an element more challenging and having to conserve food and so on, that's fine, that works. But if I can literally just die because running around for half an hour or however long it was, I at no point find food. You know, I found a fully functional assault rifle, which, you know, was very handy and stuff. But if I can't actually, oh, there we go, that'll be useful. If that is you know, there's not much point having a gun if you can't even, if you don't even have a bottle of water, or a pack of crunchy bends or whatever the hell it was I picked up. That is lovely. So, but here's a little tip: if you see fire, it's usually, though immediately proved myself wrong there. There's usually good gear here. Now, it looks like most of it's been looted already, maybe, and I've got unlucky with that box. But there is quite often good gear at fire sites, so it's always worth having a look. Though be aware, of course, that if you're going after it, there is a chance that other people will too. Yeah, as I was saying, it's just, I mean, I've proven myself wrong in this life in that I've managed to find 2 items of food and drink, but I'm already nearly halfway through my nutrition bar, and that's gone quite quickly. I haven't been playing that long, but I'm already getting to the point where I'm having to start to consider, refilling, and yet it isn't that easy to keep stocked up. I mean, I know it might be that I'm just misinterpreting Nether, and it is intended to be a very challenging game, and so making items rare. For example, I mean, you have to craft guns. That was slightly odd. It's not like DayZ where you just find weapons, which does make it harder in that you tend to. I mean, technically you can buy stuff, but I think that's using a in-game purchase system. I'm not entirely clear on how the gold works. But it does allow you to buy all sorts of things. You can get clothing. I'm wearing this mask, Grim Reaper mask, which I bought with the gold that came with my wonderful review copy. But you can also buy other things, like for 2 gold you can get, I think it's 2 gold, you can get a glider, which is pretty awesome actually. So you can hand glide off buildings. It does unfortunately disappear upon death, so I'm not actually sure if it even stays on your body. But either way, if you die, the best you can hope for is that you're gonna go and recover it from your corpse. Some more loot over here. Another thing about loot on Nether, bloody keys. You are going to often come across spots. Let's hope this isn't one of them. Yeah, there we go. Not enough keys to unlock. I do not know where these keys come from. I'm presuming there's something you pay for, but I can't be sure. But either way, yeah, you're going to run into a lot of loot spawns where you'll be told that you don't have enough keys to unlock them. And if that is a payment-based thing, then that's a serious issue for me, because a survival type game really, I mean, I'm not even getting loot spawns now, really should not be based upon any kind of pay-to-play factor. Which, I mean, it's why I like, oh, it's just spawned outside. It's why I like the crafting system in Nether, in that, like, obviously I can find things, like I found things like a crowbar, and how much does that do actually? 290. Yeah, I found a crowbar and a katana, which aren't bad. The katana does 450 damage. That's a strong melee weapon. I'm not entirely sure what the use of cigarettes are on this. Maybe I can sell them something. But obviously, against players and against the stronger types of Nether, you're going to want to stay further away, which is slightly brought down by pay to play. Because that's essentially what these keys are. If the keys are as I believe them to be, you pay for them, then you are paying to play, which is always a problem in games, because it's like when you go on, say, an MMORPG and you're running around in your basic boots and there's some guy on a giant, riding around on a giant ice dragon or whatever, because they've been willing to pay 20 quid. Or however much, and I mean, I suppose you can say, well, look, these people are willing to trade in-game, willing to trade real money for in-game benefits, but then why can't that be put in a separate area? If it's a cosmetic thing, then fine. You're willing to pay real money to make your character look a bit more appealing, then, that doesn't affect me. But when your willingness to part with real money makes the game significantly harder and less enjoyable for free players, then I feel like that is a problem. Because, it's all well and good saying, oh yeah, well you could pay as well, but when you just put in that kind of escalation of competition where it's, you can't, you're forced into paying real money on top of the money you've already paid for the game in order to keep up with. Geez, I'm actually doing quite well for food this time. Wish I'd found one of these gas stations. Well, there you go. If you need food and drink in Nether, apparently hit gas stations. So, maybe I was wrong to say last time about loot. Well, actually no, I wasn't wrong to say about the loot spawns, but I would be more accurate to say that if you're hoping to find food or drink, I would advise staying out of this general area. As you can see, I've got all of this food and drink pretty much exclusively from gas stations, which you're not going to find a lot of in the kind of marshlands. I didn't actually eat that. So if you are looking for it, I mean, it kind of makes sense. They're going, right, well, here's the realistic, this is where you like to find these supplies. But there's an extent to which realism becomes a pain because, for example, in this gameplay where I did die of hunger, I mean, even then, look, it's 2 items of food. It's not done that much to my bar. It's all well and good going, oh yeah, but this is realistically where you would find that gear, and that's great. It's nice that you're trying to put in that realism, but in the end, what it's actually doing is just making it, incredibly hard. Because if you don't specifically spend half an hour looting for food beforehand, then you're going to have some serious troubles going into the marshlands later on. And it's not the greatest development to my mind if you make it so that you can't actually if you have to spend that amount of time prepping to go into an area which is just another area of the map, then you're kind of failing your players to a degree. Oh, I've got a gun now. It's 24 bullets seems to be the kind of standard, to be honest. There does seem to be a range of weaponry available. I'm pretty sure I've got this gun both times now, but I'm pretty sure on other run-throughs I've been sniped, so, Also, that anti-nether devices thing is one of the most irritating. Essentially, safe zones. There we go. So, it's a rather perfect example of things that can happen in Nether. In that I have absolutely no idea how I just got killed. That's happened to me twice before in other playthroughs, and the guess I have is that it's snipers. Let's see, I was not near any tribe bases. My guess is snipers headshotting me, but there's nothing on the ground. There's no real sound of a gunshot. I just die. There was a flying Nether in front of me, but I'm pretty sure they can't just one-hit me like that. And if they can, they're completely overpowered. But it's slightly frustrating when there is no apparent cause for your death. It's perhaps beating a dead horse, but it's the most accurate point of comparison at this point. To use Daisy again, if I get shot by a sniper, I hear the shot. I can see myself get shot. I know why I've died. It's still irritating that I've been sniped, but oh great. I do love fighting with a butter knife. At least I know why I've gone down. Whereas in this, that's just, you're dead. And then you have to deal with that. You end up having to take... Alright, let's head to the fire, hope there's something good there. And that is lovely to start with a butter knife, you know, it's great that they give you a starting weapon. In DayZ you get a pistol. You know, it's not enough to go up against a properly armed player, but, well, unless you know, sneak up on them and headshot them. But it's enough to keep you sensibly alive, and you know, I could probably have taken less damage from those nethers. But really it shouldn't. I suppose again it comes down to a level of challenge, you know. Now I wouldn't say DayZ's easy by any means. I was playing earlier and, you know, got taken out by helicopter gunners and so on. But Nether seems almost willfully that's a museum outpost. Willfully not willfully complex exactly. I mean it is willfully complex to agree, but willfully frustrating perhaps would be a better way of saying it. It's not just trying to present you with challenge, it's just trying to make your life a pain. You know, this is not like, oh look, here's a thing that you will have a good amount of preparation for. You know, you can see how to do things and so on and so forth. It's just here's this thing, deal with it. You know, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe, you know, you like that kind of challenge. But for me, I like to be not mollycoddled exactly, but on an even footing with my challenge. And with Nether, I don't exactly feel that. I feel like things are slighted against me. And though in DayZ I often feel I'm on the brink of death, I feel that I'm in charge of that to a degree, and that if I feel like I'm going to die, it's because I've put myself in a certain situation, or maybe I've just found myself in a certain situation. But I feel like, oh, I'm probably going to die here, but you know what? I'm aware of it. In Nether, it's just like, oh, I've died. You know, when I died back there, no clue. Maybe someone can tell me if they watch this video. Comment on it. That's 2 chests now. That's 2 loot spawns now with unlockability. But Nether just feels like an exercise in fighting the developer. It's, you know, it's a good game. You know, the world is superb in terms of look, and I mean this, you know, 3 loot spawns now, all of which require these keys. But it's not drawing me in exactly. It's the kind of thing where at the end of it I just go, right, well, I guess, you know, right, wish I was playing some DayZ now. You know, I get these kind of games are designed to frustrate in a way. It's the same with DayZ. It's the same with Rust to a degree. You know, it's the format demands a certain level of challenge. That, you know, they are putting you in a survivalist world where you then have to just, you know, come to terms with that and attempt to survive. But I suppose you could say there are differing levels of I don't know, player friendliness maybe? Yeah, I forgot how horrible swimming is in this. Am I just... you know, I'm mildly terrified that there might be water nethers now. You know, DayZ makes it hard for you and it's realistic, but there is, once you come to learn the game, and you know, admittedly, I haven't played Nether for hours and hours, so it might just be that, you know, I mean, DayZ I didn't get for a long time, so it might just be that I'm fresh to this, and, you know, I've got a lot to learn. But it feels like, I mean, like, it's in beta, so that's probably a reason I'm not seeing many players. Yeah, I saw 2 players today. That's it. And they were just running into the safe zone. And it just feels like Nether is very much designed to be... I mean, I've heard critiques of DayZ as a walking simulator, which I can say I disagree with the critique, but I can understand where it comes from, because you do spend a lot of time running around. Nether feels like that to a degree, except in... Whereas DayZ is mixed up with the kind of tension of when you do run into a player, because players are inclined to shoot you on sight. That's also fairly true of Nether. Every time I've seen a player outside of a safe zone where they can't kill me, they have attempted to. But even though it's a pain having to deal with those kind of players, at least you're getting that interaction, and you know, you're getting the adrenaline of a fight, and having to try and outshoot these guys or whatever. In Nether, it just feels like, I mean, I don't know what the point is. Oh look, let's see what these guys do. One of them has a gun. One of them looks like he doesn't. I'm going to raid this place. And let's see if they let me live. Now, I don't actually know if Nether has a talk function. If it does, I don't know how to use it now. They might actually be here for the fire. Now, I'm no real threat to these guys because there are 2 of them and one of them has a gun. So I can't really... I mean, if they decide to attack me, I'm basically gonna die. Don't know what the hell I'm meant to do with that. What does that... Okay, so that's like... Boomer Bile in Left 4 Dead. You just kind of... I mean, well, I just feel like in Nether I'm not really doing anything. I don't really know what the point is. I don't feel like I have an end goal. I mean, I feel like they've tried to put that in by putting in escort missions and the courier boxes, but it's so kind of timid in terms of trying to put a direction on that it just kind of comes off all the worse. Escort missions, I mean, you know, they pop up, but I haven't actually attempted one as yet. But the courier boxes are what I'm doing now, and what I was doing when I got killed. They are essentially, you will see those boxes which say, you know, RTO to WTO or whatever, and those basically the initials are those of the outposts. So it'll be saying, you know, RTO is from this outpost to WTO. That's where they want you to take it, and then you go and trade it in, and you get a reward. And that seems to be the kind of bread and butter of Nether. You know, taking these from point to point. But in that case, then essentially what Nether is a postal delivery simulator. And oh look, I got a group invite. Might be from those two guys actually. And yeah, if you want to do a post-apocalyptic postal service simulator, then I can think of much better ways to do that that would actually be, you know, funny or so on. Because Nether doesn't want to be a post-apocalyptic postal service simulator. It wants to be a serious MMO survival game. And it's trying very hard to be that. And it looks like it. And to a degree it plays like it. In terms of fighting the monsters and so on. And the sheer pain of trying to keep getting enough supplies to do anything. But when there's a kind of capture, a domination style objective form as well, in that there are tribes, you know, which are like clans, except they're pre-established by the game. So it's not like you have to form these yourself. They exist. You just join them. And these clans fight over buildings, in that you have to go to these buildings, which I will show you on the map. So for example, whoops, don't do that. There, you can see St. William's claimed by SRP, which in this case is the Shadow Reapers. Now, what that consists of is running up to the building. If it's unclaimed, just simply standing there till it is claimed, or if it's been previously claimed, standing there till the bar goes down to it being contested, bar goes up, and then you claim it eventually. But either way, I've been to a couple of these sites, and neither time, at no point during my attempts on these sites, was I attacked or challenged by the owners of the site. You know, I literally just went, right, I'm just going to show up here, I'm going to take this place. And that was essentially it. You know, I just did it. There was no... I was not fought against, there was no real contest for it. Which, to me, speaks of a weakness in the system. In that... once again, that is trying very hard. And Phosphor's put in... It's an interesting system, actually, you know, tribes, the idea that they would attempt to control spots, but it's not like you go to these spots and there's big camps set up by these tribes. They're just the buildings, which... And honestly, I don't even know what you get. I don't know if once you have dominance of a server you get some bonus, but I do know that for just taking these places... Excuse me. It's not like a reward springs out of the ground. It's just... You've captured this place. Well done. Move along. Which isn't exactly the most rewarding feeling when you've just stood around, you know, under the impression that you're risking your life, though in reality it's fairly unlikely that you're going to have an angry horde of Sons of the Apocalypse or whatever showing up to tear you apart, treading on their turf. I mean, I like the world. I like the ideas present. You know, the tribal systems, it's a good idea. The capturing of buildings, it's a good idea. Even putting in these kind of missions, it's not a bad idea. It's just the implementation and the fact, and maybe it could well be down attributed in large to the fact that it's in beta, so it's not as fully populated as it should be, and hopefully will be once it reaches its full release. But it's fairly placid in its current form. Okay, well here's where I died before. I am being chased by that thing. Oh, there's a couple of them. Isn't that fun? As you can see, there are multiple kinds of nether. Okay, I'm really hoping that guy is trying to help. It seems like he's trying to help. Then again, it's entirely possible that he just... Alright, thank you very much for watching. As I said, I will post the links to the written reviews of Nether and the DayZ standalone in the box below. I hope you've enjoyed what you've seen. I, didn't get to show you too much of the game, but I hope you got a rough idea of what it's like. If you look at the written review, there's obviously more to it. Yeah, and as I say, thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you in the next video.